Hi everybody, it's Meep here coming at you one more time from the Game Throne with a new episode, finally, of the PokéProject, episode 10, I think we're on. However, it's a very special episode because I've got a very special guest, a guy named Chris. Chris, would you like to introduce yourself?
I am Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Hello everybody.
This is going to be a great episode, guys. So yeah, Chris, you are Chris, indeed. I can't argue with that.
Yeah, for last time I checked, still the same me. Though, when people ask me in the shops or something, they're like, "Oh, what do you like to be called?" I'm like, "Oh, can you say Christopher?" And I never know why I do it. Like, ever. Like, it's just like the most random thing.
It's so weird because I actively make a mental note to remember to call you Christopher.
Yeah. And I remember that you like your name always spelt correctly. So whenever I type it out, I always double check that it's spelled correctly.
Yeah, it gets me at work because it tells them my name, and then they reply back with the wrong name. I'm like, it's in front of you. How did you get it that wrong?
Yeah, I think it was one of the first things you ever said to me. Like, and that's just stuck with me since. Like, in a fun way, not in a bad way. Just in a I'll remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Like if people call me by my fun name, I'm like, am I in trouble? What have I done wrong?
Your fun name? What's your fun name?
Full name. Well, my fun name.
my fun name's Fun Babbitt.
These are not my pants. So give us a little background on yourself. What are you into? What are your turn-ons, turn-offs? No, but you know what I mean. Tell us a little bit more about you.
It's that kind of video. No, I'm pretty much the same as lovely you there. You know, got the same hobbies and interests. I think the biggest thing we have in common is gaming, which brings everyone together. It's very lovely. Oh, yeah. On the side of that, I have a lovely wife, Charlotte, and an amazing son, CJ. Collect Lego, and I'm pretty much he's an adult, but he's not an adult. Do you know what I mean? Kind of person.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to be because. I just see some people and I'm just like, that's the most boring life. I don't want that. Like, I get home and I just want to play with my toys. That's funny.
Well, you know, I mean, especially these days, toys are no longer just designed for children. You get specifically adult toys. I mean, you have for years, but it's becoming more commonplace. You know, if you look back at gaming 20, 30 years ago, it was like, oh, that's for nerds. Then 10 years ago, 15 years ago, oh, that's only for boys. And, you know, we're quite progressive in that sense. Rumour has it you have a nice new Lego set, Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'm looking at it right now. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And you know what, as well, like because we've recently done out, we haven't got a dining room. We've got like a Lego room. So it's like, whatever.
That's what I'm talking about.
Turning around and I can literally see the Jurassic Park gates in Lego. And in between that and my Lego set is the one-to-one Neutrona wand replica from Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah,
not in Lego. That's a Hasbro one, and it's just like I'm looking around and I'm like, this is. I haven't changed since I was like a teenager. The only difference is now I can buy stuff.
Yeah, you've got money to buy the toys.
It's good. It's you'll have to come around and see. I would send you a picture to put up on screen or anything at the moment, but it's not ready. But when it's ready, I'll show you.
No problem at all. I was going to say, if I remember, I'll put, because I think you sent me a picture of the Sonic one, didn't you? Yeah, in fact, you sent me a little video.
I did. I like sending you little videos. I'm like, okay, I'll put that music on now. I'll send it to Steve.
If I remember, I'm not promising much because sort of the point in this is it's quite simple to edit. But if I remember, I'll put the video up at the end. So for all of you millions of subscribers that I have, I think I've got like 260, something like that.
You know what? If one person listens and enjoys it, that's all that matters. It's all that matters.
Well, that's exactly it. And I think one of the things that I try to sort of do with this particular podcast is keep it just chill, just friendly. Everyone can talk about whatever they want, and then hopefully somebody somewhere will find this and put it on to fall asleep to. You know, it's not really an active, I must watch all 56 minutes or however long it is. It's just nice, chilled, people having a laugh.
And that's the dream. If people can fall asleep to the sweet sound of your voice, then I think you've made it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how well that'll work with having a Midlands accent, but I'll try.
I know, yeah. I keep forgetting I've got a Midlands accent, and then my wife, she makes fun of me sometimes. It's like
Well-
yum 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 yum. And I'm like,
She nailed it.
it is.
She the you said about that being the dream. That's basically where this whole channel started. The idea of From the Game Throne was nothing to do with Game of Thrones. It just I thought about From the Game Throne long before I'd ever heard of Game of Thrones, and the point was that whatever I was doing, whoever I was with, or whatever the situation, we would just record it and upload it, and that's where this whole thing came from. Just chilled. Whatever's happening, let's enjoy that moment and make a record of it, and hopefully some people out there enjoy it too.
Well, that's the best content, is when it's so free flowing.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, it like, you can have a script for videos, yeah, it works, but when you're having a conversation with someone, you can always tell if it's scripted.
Yeah,
And this is definitely not scripted. So
no, exactly. That's
hang on, let me just turn the script page.
Yeah. If my desk wasn't covered in clutter, I would have turned the page over so it recorded the sound.
That would have been it. Maybe you could do it in post edit. You just have a little page turn.
It's just like a cut to somebody thumbing, that kid thumbing through the book. He's licking one page but licking one hand and turning the page with the other. I mean, I don't know if anything that I prompt you, if you don't want to talk about it, it's not a problem. But I also, especially based on your name, Looped Chris, hear you're a bit of a fan of roller coasters.
Do you know what? I used to be.
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
I'm really
breaking news.
Yeah. Stop the process.
I want pictures of Spider-Man.
Oh man.
Yes,
I used to be that. I'm not. This just sounds really bad. I'm not that bothered anymore.
Okay.
I know that sounds really. I don't mean that in a bad way. They're just like before. I'd be like, oh, I want to go this park, and now I'm like, nah. Like, I live 10 minutes away from Alton Towers, and I never go.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, I don't know what it is. It's just I used to go. Oh, I've been on this many coasters, or I've been this park and this park and this park. But now I'm just I just want to go with my friends and have a laugh. I don't even have to ride a ride. I'll just sit on a bench and just take up the atmosphere.
Yes.
I mean, it's different with parks your Disney and your Universals. They're absolutely amazing. They're fine. But the general theme park stuff, I can just take it or leave it. If you said to me, if you messaged me after this, was oh, do you want to go to Thorpe Park on opening day and just chill? We could go on the Swarm and have a drink. And I'd have had a great day.
Yeah, I definitely get a feel for that as well, especially as I get older, and I guess maybe American viewers or listeners, whatever you want to call them, might not feel this quite so much. But in England, whilst we do have a number of theme parks or family parks and things like that, they run out quite quickly.
Yeah,
and, I mean, don't get me wrong. For example, Nemesis at Alton Towers, I could ride that ride until I die. But it doesn't capture that same moment as when I was 7 and I was riding it. Yeah,
exactly. It's just, they're great, but they're not. It's not. There's not enough drive for me to go. Oh, next weekend I want to go to Thorpe Park again, for example. It's 3 hours away.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough. Like I said, it's a good day out with your friends. But before I would have been oh, let's go there, and I want to do Chessington as well. But now I'm I want to go Legoland.
Yes,
but I want to take my son, who's 2.
Yes.
Well, we're going for his 3rd birthday, and then I want to go to I'm excited because he's got Miniland and stuff, and it's cute, but I'm more excited for the shop. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, and that's not taking anything away to anyone who loves theme park stuff, because I've been there. It was my whole life before. I've worked at theme parks, and I met Charlotte, Alton Towers and stuff. So it's still really important to me. It's just not. I don't wake up and think, I wish I was at Alton Towers.
Yeah, you don't wake up and go, roller coaster.
Yeah, now I wake up and I'm I want a bath.
Yeah.
It's just the mindset's completely different.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But again, that's not taking anything away from it. It's just, I feel I've changed. My you say your taste buds change?
Yeah.
So I'd rather eat a burger and drink a beer than go on a pirate ship.
Well, it depends. If it was a real pirate ship with
a real one, that'd be great. But I feel I get as much fun watching people on him than going on him. So,
Yeah, definitely. I guess it's kind of like going to the pub with friends versus you could have those exact same beers at home, those exact same drinks. But if you go with friends outside to the pub, it's not about just drinking. It's about being there with the people that you love the most.
Yeah, it's the social side of it. It's nice.
Yeah, definitely. Which, I mean, as the entire world knows, the social side of things has become difficult in the past couple of years. We've entered unprecedented times.
Yeah, it's mad to think. I still, I don't want to turn this into one of those podcasts, but like,
of course.
Sometimes you sit back and you think, the world's crazy, isn't it? Like,
the world do be crazy. That's right.
yeah. And it's so it's so weird now. Like, you turn the news on, I'm like, I don't want to watch the news. Not that I ever really wanted to watch the news, but it's always something. It's always something new. Yeah, which brings us back to games, because they just let you escape, which is just beautiful.
Yes, exactly. I think, if anything could have been year of the gamer, it's one of the last couple of years. And I think maybe a lot of people got into video games because of the last few years. I know like people whose parents have started playing Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Because what else did they have to do?
But you know what? Looking 2020, like that summer, do you know when everyone was like, it was like you have to stay inside. People like, if people ask me like, what did you do? I'm like, I played Minecraft. That's all I can remember is playing Minecraft with Charlotte till like 3-4 in the morning every day. Yeah. Like, and I know that, like, Minecraft is I think you take it or leave it. Like, a lot of people love it, some people don't. I'm like one of the ones where I'll binge play it like The Sims. So like I'll play it for like endlessly for like a couple of months, and I won't touch it for 12 months.
Yes,
and repeat. But Minecraft was mine and Charlotte's kind of a escape from what was going on in the world.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think a big thing, I mean, as you're aware, and so are the people who do watch my YouTube videos, my brother passed away in 2021. But for the 2020, as you say, it basically just brought me and my brother back together like every Friday, because you're supposed to have like a bubble of people that you saw.
Yeah.
And me and Scott were basically the only people that hung out for the entire year, and we just played games. We completed all 3 Dark Souls games. And, with what happened, that's one other story. But for that brief moment in time, lockdown was the best thing ever. I didn't have to deal with bad people. I didn't have to see anyone I didn't want to see. It was just every weekend, me and my brother playing video games. And then when we weren't playing video games together, he was streaming it. He set up his Xbox, and I told him how to set it up to stream it so that I could watch it. And I'd play Dark Souls on my screen whilst watching him play Dark Souls on his screen. And for ages, I was looking at the stream that he'd set up, and it was like blurry, like probably what you're seeing now. Because what I'm showing for you viewers, what I'm showing Chris is basically a draft version of the video, so it's quite blurry. And I was looking at my brother's screen. He's playing Dark Souls 3, and he was getting confused and lost, and it looked really blurry. And one day I turned to him and said, Scott, do you know that your TV's high def? If you go into the Xbox and check the settings, and he was looking at it as though it was a CRT television. Like he'd not set it up into HDMI or anything like that. He was complaining, I can't read any of the words, man. I need a new telly. I was like, I'm sure your TV is like, not 4K, but at least 1080p. Something missing there. But to go back to your point, lockdown didn't really affect me in any way. I just had a reason to stay at home and play video games instead of.
No, I'm the same, and I mean, we're one of the lucky ones in that respect that it's you can it's hard to say, but like you might look back on that and then you've got those memories. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Whereas the year before, when my son was born, he was born premature, so he spent like nearly 7 weeks in the hospital.
Yeah.
If COVID was going on at that time, me and Charlotte wouldn't have been able to go in together. We wouldn't have been able to have visitors.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like it's crazy to even think about. But when people ask me about lockdown, I just say Minecraft.
Yeah. And you said about Minecraft being a take it or leave it game. I quite like a bit of Minecraft. I enjoy participating in a little bit of Minecraft. But one of the things that does get me is because I like to play things on. So like Minecraft, you've got survival difficulty, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so much hard work at times when you've like spent. I remember the wings or Elytra or Elytra, and then you die and lose them, and it's like, I'm going to put my Xbox in a trash compactor.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I take as much satisfaction in. Oh, look at that house I've built in survival. So much more than like creative. Like you see what people have made like Middle Earth and stuff, and don't get me wrong, it's phenomenal.
Exactly.
But like when you look back and you're like, I've made that waterfall. Yes. And I haven't, I did all that myself and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you make like a doorbell. Do you know what I mean? Something that works. You feel so proud about it. I think that's what I like about it.
I definitely agree. Like again, so like you say, they've done Middle Earth, Hogwarts, all sorts of stuff in creative, and I will not say for 1 second that does not require talent, because it does. Mm-hmm. But you know what? My little sort of 6x6 house that I've created and put my first torch on in my new world in Minecraft in survival.
Yep.
I feel just as proud of that as I would have if I'd have spent 6 years creating Hogwarts in creative mode.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it all, because it's yours. And I mean, I'm going to use Lego as an example. I think it's like 6 or 7 Lego bricks. There's like millions and millions of combinations you can do. So like what you built, probably no one else in the world has ever built it.
Built before, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
It is a good feeling, definitely. And also it's a good feeling because we've mentioned Minecraft, I can put it in the tags, which means this video will get 8 million views. And it wasn't scripted. Page turn sound effect 2. Have you been playing much, other than Minecraft? Have you been playing much recently?
Talking about scripting, I've made a list of games that I've played, are playing, or want to play, depending on how much time we have and how much you want to listen, because I have no problem if you think it's boring. So.
No, not at all. I think that makes you our most prepared guest ever, for one. And we've had a few guests for our little tiny show. We've had a few guests. But also, I mean, we're only 17 minutes in and the video runs for 52 minutes, 54 minutes. Something like that. So you've got plenty of time. You talk as much as you want.
Cool. Right. This is now your listeners. It just reminds me of okay, Laszlo, your view.
Don't very tough for a binker at me.
Oh god. Right. Yeah. So what I've been playing at the moment, and I've been playing this as well, is Lawn Mowing Simulator.
Yes. How is it? Tell me about Lawn Mowing Simulator.
Honestly, okay. Now, say that on paper, you think, what? No, right, guys. If you've got Game Pass, go and get it. It's so therapeutic. Okay, so it's not like a petrol lawnmower. It's like you have your own company, and like you buy lawnmowers, and then when you get there, you have to it's like a proper simulator. Like you play Euro Truck, don't you?
I do play Euro Truck.
Yeah. So it's like the same thing, but like with like ride-on lawnmowers and things. And it's like you have to do these contracts, and so you go to someone's house, and you have to cut it a certain length. Honestly, you have to cut it a certain length, and then like you got a strimmer as well. But if you cut down people's flowers, you get a fine and stuff. So it's all like legit. Like it's like a proper business model. But yeah, I've only done a couple. I've only played like about 2 hours. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It's one of those. You're sitting there and like some people are like, oh, I can't wait to play Call of Duty. I'm like, I'm gonna mow some grass.
I'm gonna mow me some damn grass.
Yeah. Before that, I'm looking at my list now. It's not in order or anything. I've got like what I'm playing and then what I want to play. Farming Simulator 22.
How's it going? I tried 19 because I think that went on Game Pass a few months back. And
well, I'll tell you my favourite thing. This is fantastic. Okay, so I brought the collector's edition on PC. Well, no, Charlotte brought me the collector's edition. Bless her.
Way points for Charlotte.
Yeah, and it comes with a USB beacon light that you plug in, and when you turn the lights on in the game, it does it in real life.
Oh.
Honestly, and yet that sounds so like gimmicky, but it's not, because it's really like and it's got different lights for different vehicles as well.
Yeah,
they're clever.
So,
but I haven't like dipped into it loads yet. Like I haven't like got my own 40-hour farm yet and stuff. I'm just kind of learning it and
into it proper.
Yeah. But I definitely got to. I like farming equipment and farming and stuff anyway, so it's a no-brainer for me. But it's another one of those games where it's like really therapeutic.
So, like, I've got to ask the question: did you do the thing where I used to do this all the time as a kid, where I had something lit up, turn all the lights off, and then do it?
Not yet. I haven't done that.
If you do, you need to send me a video, and I'll put it on the channel.
Absolutely, I will do that for you.
Yeah, well, that's very nice of you. Well, you're talking about farming equipment. I absolutely loved the Clarkson's Farm series.
Me too. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah,
honestly,
really good.
50 times better than Top Gear, and I quite like Top Gear. And Top Gear kind of died off towards the end. Grand Tour, I enjoyed it. Brought back some of that like feistiness that early Top Gear had. But Jeremy Clarkson's Farm was absolutely phenomenal. That was.
I would argue that Jeremy Clarkson's Farm's the best thing I've watched on TV in a while.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I could see that being true. Definitely could see that being true.
Yeah, I brought the book as well, but I haven't read it yet.
Ooh, I didn't even know there was a book.
Yeah. It's,
what was the kid's name?
What
was the kid's name?
It's Help.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name? I don't know.
Charlotte
will know.
Haircut. Bring her in if you want to. She hasn't got to sit in total silence if she wants to talk.
No, she's in the other room watching. That new Sex and the City kind of thing. It's not called Sex and the City.
I had no idea.
I think it's called. Yeah, it's called like Just Like That or something like that.
Is it the same actors?
Yeah, apart from one apparently.
Aren't they all like 1,000 years old now?
Yeah, it's basically set in an old folk. So no, it's not. Yeah. Oh, like these shoes.
Man.
It's not. I mean, they are. Yeah. I'd watch that. No. It's. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Sex and the City. I've watched, I have watched Sex and the City, but I haven't watched all of it. And it's good, from what I've seen. It's good if you're into that stuff. So.
If you're into it.
Yeah.
Fair play. Any more games on the horizon or in the past?
On the horizon, yeah. So Sonic Mania, which I'm playing, which I haven't finished, and I'm stuck on.
Haven't finished Sonic Mania.
What am I stuck on? I can't remember the name.
Boss with the rockets?
No, I don't know. It reminds me of the Garden level from 3, but it's not that. I don't know what it's called.
Marble Madness is the one in 3, I think. No, Marble
Madness.
There's Marble Zone. Something like that.
No, it's not Marble Zone. It's like a garden, and I keep getting frozen in ice. It keeps freezing.
Yeah. And you have to like wiggle and jump and stuff to break the ice. Yeah.
I'll do it. It's just at the moment, like you get to the boss and then it's like game over, and I'm like, oh, put the control down for a bit. I'll chill the rest for a minute. Yeah. Enjoying it. It's a game that I haven't finished yet, and it is fantastic. It was great to get a 2D Sonic.
A real 2D Sonic as well. Yeah. I can't give them enough props for the way that it's like they clearly enjoyed what they were doing when they made that game. They had a passion for it in the first place, rather than these days Sonic has basically been turned into a sequel machine.
Yeah.
Where conversely, I mean, I'm a huge Sonic fan, as viewers and yourself will be aware, but I think what Mario did well is it went from strength to strength to strength.
Yeah.
And I don't get me wrong, I still love the Mario games, not as much as I love Sonic games, but they're fantastic games. Where it's taken how many years, 20-something years, for a true Sonic the Hedgehog sequel to come out? Yeah,
it really did. It generally felt like I was just plugged in my Mega Drive as well, and there's a new Sonic game on there.
Yes.
Apart from it being HD and stuff, but even if they did it so it wasn't in HD, it would still be fine. Like I'm not like one of these people who are like, oh, it needs to be crisp. It needs to be, because it doesn't. Like, especially, I mean, I like my retro gaming anyway.
Yeah.
That leads me on to another point in my list. I've literally written setting up retro consoles with lights, etc. And what I mean by that is
yes, carry on.
Yeah. So we're setting up in the next couple of weeks a new kind of TV unit area,
right?
And
okay.
I'm trying trying to work out. Well, I will be trying to work out like a kind of switchboard that when you switch on that console, I can have like a corresponding coloured light.
That's
like
exactly what I
for
want.
that thing as well. Yeah. And it's so like recently I completely like cleaned, took apart my Mega Drive, so now it's in like beautiful condition.
Yeah.
And I bought a Super Nintendo a couple of months ago as well. So that's really nice. And I actually never had a Super Nintendo, so it was really cool. They had the box and everything. Got the Street Fighter box and it's like the thingy and everything. So that's really
Street
cool.
Fighter 2, was it?
Yeah, Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
I brought that, Jurassic Park, and Super Mario World. So yeah,
Man,
so that'll be sweet when I set it up. And it's like, it's hard at the moment because I've got quite a few games, like Mega Drive games, but because they're not in my eye line, I don't think about them. So if I'm sitting down and I'm like, I just want to play a game for an hour, I'll never think of like Hook or Sonic 2. Because I can only see. Well, actually, I can't see my Xbox or PlayStation because they're behind the TV, and I want to change that as well.
Ready to go.
So, yeah.
I think,
and I want to get it set up.
So recording these videos, I recorded this on a SNES through the Super Game Boy adapter thing.
Yep.
And that was when I was in my old place. That was set up, ready to go. So I recorded loads. I've got about 30 episodes left that are pre-recorded, waiting for just podcast voiceover over the top. But I haven't recorded any new ones since I moved because the SNES is not set up. It's not connected to a TV. It's just on the display unit. Even though it's on display, it's still... I can't just turn it on and off you go.
Yeah, I think that's half the battle with your retro consoles, is having a place for them. And having a place for your controllers as well, because they're not like the new ones. You can't just put them somewhere because they've got wires on them, haven't they?
Yes.
So, I need a new Mega Drive controller. Mine's quite battered, actually. Reminded me.
They do. There's, what's that? Is it Retrobit or something? That company that make officially licensed new ones.
Nice. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they're not particularly cheap. They're not crazy expensive either, but like if you go on eBay, you get a Mega Drive controller for next to nothing. Obviously, the better condition, the more the price goes up. But I'm sure it's.
But you know what though?
They do new ones.
A couple of tutorials online and stuff like I did, and that controller when it was cleaned up and I took it all apart and I washed it, it looked brand new at the box. So it just shows that if you put a little bit of effort into it. A little bit of thing you can make them shine up like a new penny. Shine up like an old penny is the correct quote, isn't it? Because the new penny's already shining. But yeah.
Well, I don't know. These days they just make them out whatever's on the floor. Like, that'll do.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you can also, there's plenty of hobbyists out there that have recreated, like, so for example, underneath the pad you've got like the rubber contacts, so it feels like you're pressing a button. You can buy those now, and they're quite easy to get hold of. Because the retro community is huge, because it's 30 years worth of people who were kids are now adults, and they want to relive, like we said earlier, they want to relive those moments and feel those moments again.
It's all part of it. Like I said earlier, like when you're an adult, you can get everything that you couldn't have as a kid. Well, in theory, but when you, I'm sure you went the same as me. You kind of like, you had a console, and at Christmas you got a new one, and you kind of didn't play your old ones.
Yes.
But now you kind of want the choice of doing whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm I know a lot of people use emulators and ROMs and stuff, but you just can't beat playing it properly.
No, not at all. And one of the things you mentioned earlier about like high definition graphics, and we grew up on CRT TVs, and if you play an emulator, yes, fine, it's nice and crisp and clear, but the CRT was an integral part of making the game look the way it looked. It was designed to come through that slightly blurry image and make a whole picture based on the fact it was going to be blurred. And
I mean, that's the ideal thing in the end. I would like an old telly set up with the old things. I think I mentioned that to you before.
Yeah.
The problem is what kind of TV do you go for? Because you'd think you go into an antique, market, and they're everywhere, but they're not. They're really not.
No, a lot
So
of them have been destroyed. They were just
yeah,
landfill waste. They've been crushed down into nothing.
yeah. I think your best bet is things like car boot sales and stuff. Like, I really think that's probably where you're going to find them.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
people are just like getting rid of them like that way and stuff. But something I haven't looked into loads. Like, I don't want an arcade machine. Like, I want a proper arcade machine. I don't know what game, but I know I want an original arcade cabinet eventually. Yeah, maybe like The Simpsons or something. Like The Simpsons arcade, like something where it's not like the best game in the world, but it's so much fun to play with your mates.
Yeah,
like something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the things that The Simpsons arcade did really well was bring people together.
Yeah,
as
gaming does.
There was a few months ago. I went to in Birmingham. It was like an arcade there where it's you say buy like £7 at £14 worth of tickets.
Yeah,
not tickets, tokens. Sorry, and you put them in the machine, and so like one is sort of worth the equivalent of 50p. And they had the Simpsons arcade machine there. 4 separate controllers all on one arcade machine. And if you go back again to the days where arcades were popular and more readily available, anyone would walk up and fill that extra slot.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, oh, I'm playing with just me, or I'm playing with just me and a friend. If there were free places on it, people are I'm jumping in. Same would happen, that's where Street Fighter got its roots. People walking up, like you're halfway through you put like £6 in, and you're about to like beat the second to last boss, and someone else comes and goes, a new player has entered the tournament. And, oh no! And they kick your ass, and you can lose it all. But that was part of the magic.
That's part of it, yeah. I mean, I can't imagine like pre-consoles what the arcade scene would have been like with Street Fighter and stuff. Like you've heard of the movie The Wizard, haven't you? And things like that. Yeah, but I haven't actually seen. Yeah. Like I haven't seen it, but like Angry Video Game Nerds episode I watched like countless times. But you can kind of imagine like that kid walking into the arcade thinking, "Oh my god, he's like gonna kick all our ass." Do you know what I mean? It would have been cool to kind of experience that genre before everyone had a home console. Yeah. Well, a home console that actually was, wasn't Atari. Which is, I'm not saying I don't want an Atari. I'd love a 2600, but you know what I mean. Like when it was proper popular, when games at home were pretty much the arcade games.
Yeah, definitely. The 2600 is on my to-buy list. I want one of the original, the wooden ones.
Oh yeah, it's got to be the wood one. But definitely.
I've got like one of the, it sort of came out before the mini console series sort of thing, like one of the recreation ones.
Yeah.
Which is fine, it's fun to play, but the games, a lot of those games haven't stood the test of time. And so
those mini consoles, just quickly, those mini consoles are a great idea, but for the price, you could buy a console. You could you could go to a retro shop. You could buy a Nintendo and a couple of games.
I completely agree. What would have made the difference for me is if have you ever heard of the At Games series that's Sega? They like re-release Mega Drives that work with a cartridge.
No, I haven't.
They're not great. The At Games series aren't. They tend to be like cheap corner cut kind of things. The graphics are never quite the same level and all that business. But if officially Sega and Nintendo, what was the other one? There's another. It might have been Atari. I don't know. Where they've officially released a mini console. If they could have accepted cartridges as well, that would have been that would have been groundbreaking. Yeah,
that would have been cool.
But hey, I don't work for Nintendo.
Like I said, I've got a Mega Drive. I've got a Super Nintendo. I'm happy. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's fine. Yeah.
It would have been more nice, so I could plug in my copy of Sonic 2 on the Mega Drive and do it through a HDMI. That would have been awesome. Not that Sonic 2 isn't. I assume Sonic 2 is on the Mega Drive Mini. I didn't buy them for the exact reason you said. I'd rather spend that money on a real console.
Yeah. And you know what, as well, we kind of, this comes up in our conversation a fair bit, is the hertz difference between US and UK with Sonic.
Yes.
Like when you play, and that makes a difference because as far as I'm aware, you wouldn't be able to get that unless you're playing on a console.
Yeah, it does. Look, I actually think quite a bit of me. Not that I'm particularly great at Sonic the Hedgehog, but one of the things that I think made me good at Sonic the Hedgehog, now that I'm playing it as an adult, is it was basically slightly in slow motion when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So you got that extra half a second to press the button and whatnot, and it was a bit easier to memorize. Where
I love listening to the on YouTube. They've got like the 50 hertz soundtrack versions and stuff. It's really fun.
It's like
really
it
fun.
sounds great, but it does sound different. And then you listen to the
It
60
is
hertz, you're
different.
like, whoa, where am I going? I gotta go fast.
Yeah, that Green Hill on 50 hertz is almost like a different song, and that's what I liked about Sonic Mania is how they use the old songs, but they also remixed it. Beautiful.
Yeah,
absolutely
fantastic.
fantastic.
Did a really good.
Yeah.
Is it Christian Whitehead? That name rings a bell.
I
think he was part of the development team. I'm pretty sure it is Christian Whitehead. He did like a remaster of Sonic 1 or 2 or something, and Sega liked it that much that they ported it to mobile. And then when it came to doing Sonic Mania, they went to, I'm sure it's Christian Whitehead, they went to him and said, look, you love Sonic so much, you've done brilliant ROM hacks of our old games, can you make the new one for us? Which is sort of like the polar opposite of Nintendo. They're like, oh, you tried to do something with our IP, we're going to sue the living pants off of you. Give them a job.
Well, that's it. Well, a lot of like hackers get jobs, don't they, in security?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm impressed. Yeah,
exactly. Any more on the list?
Yeah, I'm moving on to things that I want to play. If you're interested in that,
of course.
So Demon Souls, which I've mentioned on PS5.
Me too. I want to play Demon Souls.
Well, I've only played the first 15 minutes of Demon Souls. That is my entire experience with that genre. So I want my ass to get kicked, and I want that progression feeling which you get from these games. That's kind of what
hurt me harder, Daddy.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's on my list. Then I've got some games coming up. You got like, the British Touring Car Championship game.
You mentioned that the other day.
That's like a new Tocker. I mean, that's like crazy cool.
That's like, assuming they do a really good job with it, which I'm sure they will. That's like my childhood just put in front of me again.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's because I've got like Gran Turismo 7 on here as well, and of course, like I'm, with like the DualSense controllers and stuff. That is. I don't know if you've played on a PS5 yet.
I have not had the luxury. I'm afraid.
You'll have to come around because the controller it is a game changer, like absolute game changer. Like I was playing Astro's Playroom, and it felt like it's just so hard to explain over unless you have it in your hand. But you'll have to come round and then you can do a video on it because you need to feel it. Like it's something. A controller is so embedded almost into us that it's just a button and a bit of vibration, but it's not like it feels like there's. I don't want to sound cheesy, but it feels like you're part of the game without being part of the game.
Go on, sorry.
No, I was just say like the developers like Gran Turismo say like when you lock your brakes up and you can't you feel your car skidding out, you'll be able to feel it in the controller, and after playing like Astro's Playroom and stuff you can imagine how it's going to be. And that's the thing, like, because I love racing with a wheel, like we have fun on your wheel and stuff, but
yes,
I feel like Gran Turismo 7 might be better with a controller because it's been designed with that controller in mind. Yeah. Whereas British Touring Car Championship, Formula 1, they're always going to be better with a wheel because that's that you're supposed to be. So you're welcome whenever you want to come around and play PS5.
Well,
absolutely, whenever you want. I'll buy Demon Souls and we'll just play it.
I'm like, Chris, go away. I'm playing Demon Souls. Leave me alone now. You're like, yeah, but it's my pit. But I don't care. Get out.
I would never do that to you.
No, I know. And Demon Souls is one of the games that makes me want to buy a PS5. It's just I can't justify that entry price for one or two games.
Yeah, well, that's what the reason I wanted it was for having it ready for when Gran Turismo come out.
Yeah.
And I kind of obviously it's still hard to get, and I kind of just said to myself, I was like, right, I'm going to get up every day to have stock alerts, and it took me about 3 weeks to get one, I think.
Yeah.
So if you're on it, if you know, and I'm talking about you have to invest a lot of time in being on your phone, checking, having to see stock alerts set up and stuff. If you commit to doing it, you will get one. You will find one.
Yeah,
but you've got to. It's almost like a job.
You got to be on
to
the
get
ball.
one. Yeah, and I think they're getting a little bit easy to find, but I love mine. I just don't play it that much yet.
That's it. That's why I'm not in any rush. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love to be able to play Demon's Souls, especially while the multiplayer community is still available. Because obviously, the longer you go, the multiplayer community starts to drop off over time. But the entry price is too much for me to justify, especially because I bought a Series X as well.
Yep.
I've
got them both, and I'm leaning on PlayStation more because of the controller, and I think that if you're in the middle, that's the controller is going to be the one that sways you. I'm trying to give an example. Like in Astro's Playroom, there's like a mini game bit where it's like a grabbing machine, like a theme park. So you grab machines.
Yeah.
And a ball will pop out and it'll land in your hand in the game, and the controller will vibrate in a certain way that it feels like it's landing in your hand.
Feels like it's actually there.
And then you press the trigger down, and that's your hand, and the trigger has resistance, and then the ball will break, and then the trigger will just slightly go down about half a centimeter, and it'll feel like you've cracked the ball.
Almost, yeah.
And it's so hard to explain, but it's so like revolutionary. Like you just think, how is it taken this long from the PlayStation controller with a vibration to get to a vibration where it actually means something? Because Xbox kind of did it with their triggers, didn't they, with Forza?
Yeah, they started. They started the ball rolling, didn't they?
Yeah, and that is good. But when I'm not trying to sell it. I'm not trying to sell it anyone. I'm just being excited, being a gamer, that it is quite a new thing.
The viewers like, man, this Chris guy must work for Sony.
Yeah. Let's go buy a PlayStation. How can I get one?
At least as far as I know, guys, he doesn't work for Sony.
No, I don't work for Sony.
Right.
And things as well, like on FIFA, when your players get tired, you hold down the sprint button.
Yeah.
It'll push against you because they're tired.
Yeah. So similar to the racing wheel, where like if you hit the curb, it'll either pull in or push or pull away, and you have to hold it in the right place.
Yeah, like between 80 minutes and 90 minutes, like my finger was getting achy because you have to put more pressure on it, and I'm like, these players, I'm your boss. You know what I mean? You don't do that to me.
Yeah, pause, click to manager mode, done.
Yeah. But you come round and play it, and I guarantee there'll be a moment where you'll just kind of look at me and you go, oh.
I'm definitely interested in trying it, because one of the big things for me when it came to consoles, because there's no doubt about it, basically since PlayStation 3, Sony has had the best exclusives by far. But the big thing for me was the Xbox controller fits my hand nicer. I find it easier and more comfortable to use.
Yeah.
And now I'm one of those nerds. I've got the Elite 2 controller, and it's
I want to get an Elite controller. Yeah.
It's by far, it's not even close how much it's the best controller I've ever held. And until this day, until I got the Elite 1, the best controller I ever held was the original Duke for the Xbox original, like the big giant controller. Yeah. I loved it because I got big monkey hands, so it worked out nicely. But you talking about this controller makes me interested to try it, because I think the Elite 2 is going to be a hard hurdle to clear. And if the PS5 controller can do that, who am I to argue?
Yeah, you know what, though? There's room in life for both. So
as I grow up, that's more and more important, especially because for those of you that don't know, I've worked in game with Chris for quite a while. Yeah.
We served our time.
It very, very much became like, PS5 is better. In our time, PS3 is better. PS4. So, well, why? If you can afford both, get both. If you can't, you've got a friend that's got one. Go and play both. Enjoy both things.
Yeah, I never understand the whole console wars thing. I never get it. Never get it ever.
I sort of understood it as kids when it was like Sega versus Nintendo, and everyone kind of bought into that hype. It was like, he's a Nintendo kid, he's a Sega kid. But the clue there is the word kid. We're not kids anymore. We got space life.
These were like your parents would buy your console as well. So it's not even like you could go out And even if you had like a paper round, you could never save up for a console.
Exactly.
Really.
When most people were playing Sega and Nintendo, I still had an Amstrad.
Yeah.
I was putting a little tape in, pressing like Control, Alt, Run, and yes, let's go. I'll play this game in 40 minutes when it loads.
I remember getting my Mega Drive for Christmas, man. I was so happy.
Yes.
It was so good memories. So good memories.
My favourite console Christmas, there's a term, if that doesn't exist, console Christmas, was the Sega Saturn. Even though that console flopped hard, I remember that Christmas to this day playing Sonic R, like everybody supersonic racing. And that feeling doesn't happen anymore.
It's
a
not the same,
bygone time. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? My Christmas memory of my happiest console was when I got my 360. And I had my mum brought me like the Steelbook Gears of War edition.
Yes.
And stuff. And I was like, I think it was 2007. I was so excited. That was such an exciting Christmas.
Yeah, I remember getting my Xbox and playing Dead Rising through a CRT. And they hadn't made it so that the game knew if it was HD or not. So the text was like super small on a blurry screen. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll run around, kill some zombies. Oh, that zombie's dead. This zombie's dead. Couldn't complete it because you can't read any of the words. But it was still magical.
That was back when there was only Resident Evil and Dead Rising. Now it's like, there's a zombie game every week.
Yeah, definitely. What I liked about Dead Rising is it just went down the zombie film route. It was like, we'll put him in a mall with some zombies.
George Romero, the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, he tried to sue him.
Did he? No way.
Yeah, because he was like, well, it was my idea to put zombies in a mall, and that's where a lot of the, there's like certain things you can copyright and certain things you can't. That's where a lot of that came from. And until something like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, I think it was Konami owned the legal rights to put mini games on loading screens. Because one of the things I always said that something like FIFA should do is in the loading screens, especially when loading screens were like long, took a while to load the game, is have a little mini game of like sensible soccer or penalty shootouts or something while you're waiting. Yeah. And they couldn't do it. I'm not sure it was either Konami or Atari owned the legal rights to put mini games in loading screens, but what they couldn't copyright was whatever the game was itself, and that was all part
awesome. Of that. I did not know that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you can't copyright a video game mechanic. It's outlawed. Sort of in the same way that you can have the classic war film where it's like, the good guys are losing and all their friends die and the last couple of them win the battle kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's this tried and tested story. Romeo and Juliet. That story happens in nearly every film these days. Yeah. So there you go. There's your fact for the day, viewers.
Oh man, yeah. I've the only thing I've got on my list there, I've got Halo written down because I'm trying to play through all the Halos at the moment.
Okay.
And I've only completed 3.
Do you mean 3 of or just number 3?
No. I've only completed number 3.
Yeah.
ODST and Reach, I think, back in the day. So I'm trying to play them through. But I keep forgetting.
dude, yes.
Yeah.
I was speaking to my brother, the whole story. And one of the last things I remember saying to him before he went into hospital was, I want to complete the Halo series. Do you want it? Because it's co-op. Yeah. All of them are co-op. Do you want to do it with me? He's like, yeah, we'll do that at some point. That sounds good. And Gears, that was another one because I've never completed the Gears series.
Yeah, that's the game I'm playing at the moment. Sorry, me and Charlotte are playing Gears 2.
It's so mental that you mentioned that. But carry on. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Carry on.
No, what I was going to say was, I don't know if you want to, or we could talk about it afterwards. But if you want someone to play Halo with you, man, we should do it.
Yeah, I'm more than up for that. Definitely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a massive Halo fan, not at all. I enjoy Halo, but
that's exactly the same as me. I'm not a mega fan. Yeah. I like the idea of it, and I like I've got some. It's called Mega Constructs now. They used to be Mega Blocks, but they have the Halo license for the brick sets.
Yeah,
and I've got like the Warthog and the helmet, and I've got this little. It's like almost like a diorama of like Halo ring, and I'll send you a picture later. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's generally one of my favorite like brick sets.
I think the Halo series as a co-op adventure is fantastic.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get into the multiplayer. I enjoyed the multiplayer, but there was something missing.
When everyone was playing the multiplayer, do you know what I mean? That's why.
Yeah. I'm much more a fan of two or three bullets should take somebody out. That's my kind of game, rather than I've got shields and armor and all that. That's never been my favorite thing.
Yeah. Just while the thought is still in my head, this is just really passing. You were on about loading times and loading screens earlier. So I started Skyrim Anniversary Edition on a Series X the other day, and do you know when you start Skyrim and it says it's got Alduin, hasn't it? And it's got the Scrolls of Foretold, the Black Wings in the Cold, and then it loaded like straight away.
You're like, hey, put that back on.
I was like, that sets up the whole feeling. You know, that little 4-sentence paragraph of, oh man, things are going to get, and then it just come on and I was like, you're finally awake. It's like, okay.
Oh, yes. That
it's funny, isn't it? Like loading times.
That brings back an ancient memory from a bygone era.
I was not into RPGs. No. I was just saying I wasn't into RPGs, and I don't think I'm still into them at all. And I remember working at Game when Skyrim was coming out, and everyone was hyping about it. And I was just like, I don't know, I ain't bothered about that. And someone was like, oh, there's dragons. I was like, I like dragons. I'll give it a go. And I bought it, right? And honestly, it's one of my favorite games ever. And it's just a great story about how I just didn't care about it. So I didn't have to wait 4 years for it, 3 years for it. Yes. I didn't have to wait through the trailers on it. I literally brought it the day it came out and haven't looked back since. And that's such a when you wait for games now, and you wait so long, and and then you get it, and it's like, oh, it's okay. Like,
that's alright.
Yeah. There hasn't been a game that I've waited years and years for since Ghostbusters. There hasn't been a game I think that I've had to wait that long for that I've wanted. Because so many games have alphas and betas and releases now. It's not the same anymore. But I remember checking the Ghostbusters game website
every day. Is it out now? When's it out? Is it out now? I have a couple of stories sort of based around the last two things that you said. One was the loading times, and you brought back a distant memory of Splinter Cell on the original Xbox. I played that game so much that I went to hospital.
What?
Yeah. So the short version of that story is you had like this it was like spies versus mercs. The mercs could shoot people, and the spies couldn't. They had only non-lethal methods of engaging with people. But one of the things the mercs had to help spot the spies, because they could like climb up in the rafters and hide, was like this motion detection type vision. But what happened? The screen went red, and it was like red static. I played the game that much that the red static basically ruined my eyes.
Oh, no.
So I went to hospital.
Did you have to get like checks and everything? Yeah,
I got checked for meningitis and all sorts. I was fine in the end.
Because you were playing
because so any light I looked at was like, oh, my eyes are killing me, because I got used to looking at this red screen for hours on end. Anyway, point being, that game would, the first time you put in the Xbox, it would do a loading screen. It would play a story as it was loading, which would set up the game. But then the second time, as long as you didn't take the disc out, it kept that loading in the memory of the Xbox and would skip the story. I was like, no, I wanted to watch, and it skips. The next one was you talking about waiting for games to come out. What game was it I was gonna Fallout 4. One of the few games that I was lucky enough to go to game as a midnight customer rather than working the midnight. I was like, can't wait for this game. Can't wait. Fallout 4, yes, it's happening. I went and bought it. Midnight, got home, put the disc in. My Xbox wouldn't recognise it. What's going on? Took the disc out. Basically, my Xbox disc drive had broken. So I had to wait until the next day to be able to play it. Got that sorted. Then I was with one of my ex-girlfriends, my most recent ex-girlfriend, and she was also playing it at the same time. And she got to the pivotal moment in the story before me because I was doing all the quests, so like side quests, and she basically spoiled Fallout 4. I've been waiting for 7 years for Fallout 4. It didn't work on the night. When I finally got to play it, she rushed through the main story and spoiled it for me.
And that's why you're not together.
No. She was lovely, like, not at all. But it was one of the moments in my life. I was like, I've waited so long for this moment. You've taken it from me.
You know that I get so worried about seeing spoilers, like for things, because people don't like. I won't mention any spoilers, by the way. So if you're listening, don't worry. I'm not going to say any spoilers. But I'm not really into Avengers, to be honest. I like it as much as a normal person.
Yeah,
not that you're not normal if you don't like it. If it I can take it or leave it.
It's a good watch.
But I wanted to see, the one that came out in 2019. The Endgame or something. But I wasn't overly bothered. And at the time, my son was in hospital, so I couldn't go anyway. And then like this guy was like ruining it all on Facebook, and I'm thinking, I know it's been out a month, but you do not know people's circumstances. You do not know like what's going on and stuff. So when I'm big into Ghostbusters, when it was leading up to Ghostbusters, I took about a 6-week social media blackout just to make sure I didn't see any spoilers for Ghostbusters.
I don't blame you.
And I didn't see any spoilers. It was worth it in the end. And social media. My favorite thing about social media is able to talk to you and my friends. Do you know what I mean? It's not. Yeah.
It has its place in life. But I think one of the best things about social media these days is you do have the ability to turn it off.
Yeah, and the world still spins when it's on.
It does indeed. I was banned off Facebook for the entire of December, and that was a time that not only included Christmas but my brother's birthday. And you know what? I was glad that I wasn't online on my brother's birthday. I got to sort of spend that with family and make it real.
Yeah,
so, totally
because
agree.
I still do it now, and I get annoyed. You wake up and you'll scroll on your phone for like 20 minutes,
and then it wakes you
up. But then I implore you all to try this. When you wake up, go on your phone, and then put your phone down after 20 minutes and tell me what you've done, or tell yourself what you've done, because I guarantee you can't remember.
Yeah, you haven't got it quick.
Because it's just scrolling. It's like just mindless scrolling.
Yeah.
Time just doesn't exist. That's a funny story about Skyrim, just really quick. I was doing my character, and then it auto saves. It said like 33 minutes. I was like, how in the hell has it been 33 minutes? It feels like 5 minutes.
Definitely.
Yeah. It just sinks, doesn't it?
Whilst we're on the subject of Skyrim, then the previous thing I was going to mention was just basically social media takes over your life. That's its purpose. A friend of mine who's been on this show before, Godlike Rossi, for those who are listening, he pulled his phone out of mine the other day, put it in his pocket, and then it bleeped. And I genuinely think that our phones, because they know when there's light on them, they know when our face is in front of them, I genuinely think they withhold a notification until you put it away, and then it'll bleep so that you get it back out and check it again. I think that's a real thing. But back to my original point, Skyrim. As I understand it, you bought the Collector's Anniversary Special Super Harvest Bread Edition?
Well, I brought it Charlotte for Christmas.
Oh, yes.
It was £25 on sale.
25 of the Queen's finest pounds?
£25 sterling. Xbox. It said I'm holding it. I brought it in here for the purpose of this unscripted moment, but this bit was pre-planned. So it said, let me just bring you into my world. Okay, so I'm sitting here looking at it. It says Xbox One. Okay, first of all, it says Xbox One at the top, and then it says Xbox Series X dot Xbox One, which is standard practice now for Xbox users, which is annoying, which is a big pet hate of mine. I think that you should have the option to buy Xbox Series X games and Xbox Series One games because they will look nicer in your collection. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Agreed.
Yep. It says 4K Ultra HD Smart Delivery. Okay, Smart Delivery, for those who don't know, is the game will tell what Xbox you're playing it on. Okay, sounds good in theory. Not good for someone who suffers with OCD as I do, and has to make sure everything's running exactly how he wants it, and it doesn't tell you. Whereas the PS5 does do that, which is nice. Actually, no, I tell a lie. It does tell you if you go onto your games and library, it says X and S
XS, yes.
on it, which it does. So I have to give credit for that. But on the PlayStation, it does say it regardless. Okay, so I'm opening the game up. Okay, on the disc it says Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition. Okay, beautiful. Put that into your Xbox. It's the special edition of Skyrim. Honestly. And you have to put in a code to upgrade it to the Anniversary Edition. Now, I'm a simple man, Stephen. But that annoys me. That annoyed me. Because
that's not smart delivery.
No, you have purchased the special edition with an anniversary code in the box.
That's not on. Don't
get me wrong, it's the same game. It's the same product.
That's not the point.
That's
not what you paid for.
It's not. Yeah, you've paid for it to be singing, dancing on the disc, as is not a DLC code. So no, that did rub me the wrong way. It doesn't take anything away from the game because I'm looking forward to doing all the new quests.
It's really that because Bethesda,
it really annoyed me because it was a present as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You'd expect it to be the full package.
Yeah,
and one of the things that Bethesda used to do really well that I really loved them for it was, for example, Fallout 3, the complete edition, Fallout New Vegas, the complete edition. There was an extra disc in the box that had all of the DLC on. You put the disc in and it installed the DLC. Now, fair enough, it might download a patch, as most games do these days. But you had physically in your hands so that 40 years from now you could play on your retro Xbox. You had the ability to put that in and it was the whole DLC altogether.
Yep. And I tell you one thing as well, just before I forget. On the disc it says Anniversary Edition.
Yeah.
But it's when you load the game, it says Special Edition on the console.
Yeah, they've done it on purpose.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but we've run out of video.
There we go. See, time flies when you're moaning about Skyrim.
Time does indeed fly when you're moaning about Skyrim. And this has been a special episode of From the Game Throne, but the PokéProject, for two reasons. Not just because we have the amazing Chris available to us, but it's also the first episode where I didn't catch any new Pokemon. So I had 27 Pokemon the whole time.
Yeah. What Pokemon is it? Is it blue?
Pokemon Yellow this is, and for those of you that haven't watched this before, if you're still watching now, well done. But the point is to catch all of the Pokemon in every Pokedex on real hardware.
Oh.
Which I started this project a long time ago and I've not got any further in. It was a mistake to start it, but I've started, so I'll eventually finish by the time I'm 90 something.
And I will be there to congratulate you.
Yeah, and all 6 viewers as well.
Like I said, 1 viewer, that's all that matters.
That's right.
Listener, I just want to listen to your viewers, Laszlo.
Ferdinand and Nanny.
So that's another thing. I've been playing the Definitive Edition as well. Yes. Which isn't as bad as everyone says, by the way.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's absolutely fine. Go and buy it. Go and enjoy it.
Gosh, people played this game when it was in the old graphics and didn't moan, and it's got slightly nicer graphics, and people are like, no, that's not good enough. Oh, shut up.
Yeah, it's absolutely silly. Go and play it. It's really good.
Yes, definitely play it. It is very good. It's a bit disappointing that some of the songs have vanished, but I understand why that happens. But the game itself hasn't lost anything. In fact, it's gained a few memes. So that pretty much brings us to the end of this podcast episode of From the Game Throne, or the PokéProject, depending on how you're following it. The only thing I'll say is do all the things that YouTubers ask you to do. A massive thank you to Chris for joining in. It's fantastic to have a special guest. Chris, have you enjoyed your experience today?
No. Yes, of
course I have. Terrible. I hate it. Delete that video right now.
It's been a pleasure talking about it, and thank you for everyone listening, and make sure you support Steve because he's generally one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Thank you, and the same back to you as well. I know you said you don't necessarily want to plug things, but for those of you, if he does take things off the ground, you can always find it in the description below. I'll make sure the links are there. And the only thing I'll say, Mr. Christopher, is don't be a stranger. Next time we do one of these, it might be multiple guests, of course, but you're always welcome on board.
Lovely. Oh yes, exciting. Multiple people.
Well,
I only get to talk to like 3 people a day, so it's fine.
Ooh, well, it'll be a special treat for you. Listeners, viewers, whatever you want to call yourselves, thank you very much for tuning in. Chris, thank you very much for coming on. And from Chris, would you like to say goodbye to everyone?
No joking. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Goodbye. Tune in next time. Bye-bye.